Hi! Remember me? It's been a while. Hey Flosstube, I'm Rebecca. This is Beck Stitches Everything. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are a returning viewer and or subscriber, and if this is your first time here, welcome. This is my channel where I talk about my crafty endeavors, primarily cross stitch. Sometimes there's some other things that I end up working on. This is Flosstube number, I didn't look, is it 5? It's been about a month since I've filmed a regular update. I posted my last update, and then kind of on the heels of that I filmed my Mill Hill finishing tutorial and then posted that a couple weeks ago. So I've had a video up roughly every 2 weeks, but it's been a really long time, I feel like, since I've sat down in front of the camera and done one of these. Life's been busy, all good, all fun. I had some real life crafty meetup events that were awesome. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, things are good. I've worked on a lot of stuff. I've just kind of been all over the place and I've just been neglecting filming. So figured I needed to do it today. I've worked on a lot of things over the last month. I didn't really keep track of them that well, so I think I just kind of have a small basket of things next to me, and we'll kind of hit the high points. And then I want to fill you in on some fun things that have happened in real life too, but I'll save that for a little bit so I don't sit here and just like talk at you for 10 or 15 minutes without showing any cross stitch. So as I said, welcome. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope summer's been treating you right. I know I have a lot of friends whose kids are going back to school right now. I'm loving seeing those pictures. We're just about 2 weeks away from full-blown pumpkin spice season, so I'm very happy about that. I'm that basic. So, why don't we do... I like halfway organized for this. I don't have any notes, but I have kind of my project. So why don't we do the, kind of my 2 standard opening types of projects that we'll talk about. And let's do this one first. We'll just get this out of the way. This is my work on the Deadly Aquarium Stitch Along by Lola Crow. It is on a piece of fabric it's hemp from Jackson Fiber Arts on Etsy. No, Fabric Arts? I should know this. The color's Cadiz. It's 32 count. I'm stitching this 2/1 with DMC. And if you have watched any of my previous videos, you will probably look at this and say, Rebecca, this looks no different than it did the last time you showed it to us. And you are 100% right, because I'm officially behind on this stitch along. I kept up all the way through, I think, exhibit 7. In fact, I was doing them for the most part either the day they were released or within that Friday to Saturday. And then I think it was exhibit 7 I did, and I was the first one to post my finished piece on Instagram, and Lola Crow shared mine to her story, and then I put it away and I have not touched it since. I think 8 and 9 are out. Am I 3 behind? There might even be 1 coming out tomorrow. I'm behind. Basically is what I'm trying to say. And I will finish this. I will. This is my personality. I knew that like once I kind of fell off of that routine, I was going to lose all traction that I had on it. I do really like this project, and I do intend to finish it. I'll probably give it to my husband because I know he likes it. I think a couple things happened. I think that I tried to focus on more holiday stitching for Christmas in July, and that kind of threw me off. And then I think lately the last couple weeks, first couple weeks of August, for whatever reason, have been really drawn to my projects that are, on 40 count, 1/1. I've been enjoying that stitching more, and this is a 2/1/2 is what I've been enjoying, and this is a 2/2, And it just, I don't know, it just hasn't been calling to me. And I know we all go in phases. I'll cycle back where I'll want to do this kind of like easy, more kind of comfort stitching at some point. So this won't go away. But I was kind of thinking about what draws me to projects. I name my channel what it is for a reason. Beck Stitches Everything, because I like a wide variety of things. But some projects I'm drawn to because I want that finished product. I want it framed. I want it hanging on my wall or on display in my house. And some things I'm drawn to because either it's a challenge or it's just kind of like a bucket list sort of thing. Like, this is a mystery stitch along. This is the first one that I've done in real time and will finish. And I kind of feel like it will be my last. Like, it's like a one and done kind of thing for me, because I can say, I did that, check it off the list. Similar to maybe like a really large, like a Haid full coverage. I haven't done one of those yet. Something I would like to do just so I can kind of, for me, say that I've done it. And who knows, I could get addicted to that and just keep doing those, maybe. But I have a feeling like if I ever complete one of those, and it might be one of those things where, again, I check it off my mental list, like, done it, and then I don't need to do it again. And then there are other kind of projects that I will, like, always be drawn to and always want to be stitching, if that makes sense. Regardless, this will get finished at some point, but probably not. I don't know if I'll finish it, like, with the completion of the exhibit releases with everyone else. We'll see. Okay, and then the second kind of ongoing thing that I've been working on is the little Hill Ornament Kit. I've been doing, well, I did a stitch along with Annie of Exo Needle in the Hay, and I've completed quite a few of these. I did my tutorial of how I finished them into ornaments, and the last few videos I've been doing like a random draw from my stash of them. Give myself a little homework to complete before my next video. So I drew 2 last time, and I've completed them. It kind of feels like cheating because it's been a month. I guess I give myself 2 extra weeks to finish these, but I did finish them. So the 2 that I had drawn last time were the vintage camera, which is very cute. This is like that. There's like a big crystal here, which is like the center of the flash bulb. And then I think it's called like the little gnome house. There's a whole series where there's little gnome characters. This is like a Mario Brothers kind of feel to me. This one was actually pretty intense. Some of these are kind of deceiving. They look like they're not. It's not hard. It was just kind of a lot to keep track of, I guess. And more backstitching. I'm gonna sneeze. I might have to take a sneeze. Like, I have a sneeze attack. My allergies have been still, I think they're actually worse now than they were earlier in the summer. I'll be fine for hours and then I'll just have these sneezing attacks that come on. And then, because I just wanted to and I kind of felt like I was cheating, I did one more ladybug. This one was fun. If you've never done one of these and you are tempted to try one, this would be a really good one to start with. The only thing about it that's a little more complicated is there's some, I can barely see it, really faint back stitching on the gray part of her wings. The chart was kind of making my eyes go a little crazy on that. But other than that, it's like primarily big block stitches of color, lots of beads. I think I did this one, like, it might have been a 24-hour. It just flew by. So I love that one. Okay, so there's 3 more I need to finish into, like, fully finish at some point. And then I still have my bag. Well, I had a question. I'll get into that in a minute, about how many of my Hill kits have I actually completed. My estimate was a quarter. I think that's right. I still have a lot. So I think I was debating whether or not I should draw 1 this time or 2. I think I'll still draw 2. I might fail this time because I do want to get back on a little more regular Flosstube filming schedule. So we'll draw 2 and see if I can do it. And I have some kind of bigger things that I want to work on in the next couple of weeks. So I don't know if I will succeed at finishing, but, and I know there's one in here that's, I think it's a two-sided, and I think you stitch both, so hopefully I won't draw that. All right. Oh, cool. Okay. So the first one I drew is one of the Christmassy ones. It's from the Nutcracker series. I think I only have a couple of these. He's cute. And then I'll do one more. Oh, another Christmas one. Winter Holiday. This one's cute. It has, I haven't seen this in any other ones that I do. There's like a little, I don't even know. It's like a thread. It's got kind of a sparkly, fringy, goes around the edge. It's great. So we'll have 2 more Christmas things to work on, even though I just did Christmas in July. You know, we'll fill you in on all that. Okay. So before we get to the rest of the stitching, I thought I would tell you a little bit about kind of what I've been up to just in real life, I guess, the last few weeks. It feels like a long time ago now, but it was just about 3.5 weeks ago. I met up with some other Flosstubers in real life, and it was awesome. I think everyone else who was there who has a Flosstube channel has already talked about this on their channel, so apologies if I'm being repetitive here, but I haven't filmed since we met. So on July 20th, I went to Issaquah, Washington, which is kind of on the other side of Seattle from where I live, to Threadneedle Street, which is a small, like it's one of, I think might be Washington's only LNS, or one of very few, and met up with Megan, the Seattle Stitcher, Amy, Elizabeth, and Carolyn of the Thread Gremlins. We were the Seattle crew. And then some friends drove down from Canada. So Erica of Fibers and Floss Canada, Michaela of Cinematic Stitches, and then Mary of, I think it's XO, Mary XO. She's newer to Flosstube, but I'll post links for everyone in the description below. They came down from Canada, and we met at Threadneedle Street and had so much fun. It was awesome. So I think I've communicated with everyone in that group a fair amount on Instagram, and so I watch their YouTube channels, and so you feel like you kind of know them, but it's still, I think it's still a bit of a gamble when you actually meet someone in real life, when you've only had interactions with them online. And I won at this gamble. Everyone was so sweet, fun, cool. We had such a good time. So we met at Threadneedle Street, which I have never been to before. It's a pretty small shop, and Denise, who's the owner, it's a little space, but she has a ton of stuff. I could not believe how much she had in that shop, and it's super organized. It was about an hour drive from me, so it's somewhere that I could go to with a little bit of planning, but not so close to me that it's like completely dangerous either, if you know what I mean. So I got there, we did a little bit of shopping, chatting, and then we took a break and we went down the street and had lunch at a Mexican restaurant. More talking, everyone's really getting comfortable and getting to know each other, and we went back to Threadneedle Street and did more shopping. Denise was a trooper because we just took over that store, and we're gabbing and digging through all it was hot in there by the time we left, I think, just from us talking so much, and I'm sure we wore her out. I think it was worthwhile for her, like financially probably that day, but like I also hope that she was able to take all of the next day and just sleep. It was great, and I hope that it's something, I mean, none of us are super close to each other, but I think that it's not so far for any of us, and I hope it's something that maybe we could do something like that maybe a few times a year. I would love to see everyone in that group again. It was wonderful. After we did all our shopping, Erica and I and some of the other ladies just kind of sat in the grass just for a few minutes, because Erica and I had planned to start a project together, which I'll talk about later, and we just put just like 15 minutes like sitting outside and talking and put some stitches into that project. That was also the weekend of Midsummer Stitch, put on by Lindy Stitches, staff of Lindy Stitches, which I had bought a ticket for, and then I ended up not attending. Friday, it started Friday night, and I had other things going on, so I couldn't make it. And then Saturday, we did the meetup. Megan had to leave a little bit early because she was hosting a table with the girls that afternoon. But for me, by the time I had done that drive there and back and the socializing, and it was kind of a hot day, by the time I got home, I was wiped out, and I'm too introverted. Like, I couldn't do any more social things that day. I needed to just like power down. But I heard it was awesome. I heard there were like maybe a little bit of technical hiccups, which are always going to happen at those kinds of things, but I've heard nothing but great things, and I want to attend Jingle Ball this winter if she does that, and hopefully she'll do another Midsummer Stitch, and I want to take part in that next summer too if that's put on. So that was Stitchy Meetup number 1. And then this past weekend, so it would have been August 11th, today's the 15th, I went back over to the east side of Seattle suburbs and met up again with Megan and then the 3 Thread Gremlins ladies. Amy hosted us at her home, and we did a YouTube live where we just sat together and worked on cross stitch and talked and answered a few questions and had a great day. It was awesome. I think quite a few people tuned in. There were a lot of people that hung out the whole time. I think we kind of forgot the camera was even on probably several times, but that's why we wanted it to be. We just wanted it to be like you were just gonna go and meet up with your local stitching group and work on your projects and just chit chat. So it was wonderful, and I think we'll probably do something kind of like that again at some point. It's great. And then after I left there, I drove, so they're on the east side and I'm like west of Seattle, so kind of coming back home, I stopped downtown. That weekend was also the Flock Fiber Festival, which is put on by, it was the second year for it, by La Mercerie. It's a yarn store on Bainbridge Island, which is kind of just across the sound from where I am. It was at the Seattle Convention Center. I did not buy a ticket for it this year, and I'm kind of regretting that. I just haven't been knitting and crocheting that much, so it kind of was like not really on my radar this year. But Liz from Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch was in town for it, and she was like kind of making a pit stop on her way to California for a work trip. And so she and I connected, and we met down by Pike Place Market and had a couple drinks and some food and just got to meet in person and chatted for, I don't know, I think we talked for a couple hours. It was awesome. She's awesome. Like, you can tell that from her videos. Super nice in person. So that was so fun to see her and meet her in real life. And one of those like super weird, like small world, almost Twilight Zone kind of scenarios. She and I were talking. So she lives in Texas, and I was in Texas for high school and college. I had said something about where I went to high school, and she kind of stopped me. We went to the same high school. I'm 7 or 8 years older than her, so we were not there at the same time. So that was weird already. And then after talking a little bit more, we realized not only did we go to the same high school, but we lived in the same neighborhood. I mean, we were a street apart for like all of the 90s, basically, in Austin. Never met. I mean, I would have been a teenager and she would have been like grade school age, so we never would have met. But it's just like one of those kind of mind-blowing moments. It was crazy. So that was awesome. So yeah, it's just, life's been full of cool, fun stuff, and I think it's one of those things. I've talked to several people online who have, like, Instagram friends who have thought about doing or making a floss tube, and I know it took me a long time to get started and film and get brave enough to do it and convince myself to do it. But I just want to say, if it's something that you're thinking about doing, just do it. It's like, it's so much fun, and yet it does take time to set everything up and talk about it. And it's, you know, it's a little stressful to put yourself out there, but the amount that I've already received back from being in this community, just from doing that, is so worth it. So you should just do it. All right. Enough of that. So let's get to more stitching stuff. So, like I said, I worked on a bunch of stuff. I don't have enough notes to know everything that I touched since the last time that I sat down in front of the camera. I did jot down a few things. I'll kind of hit the highlights. So in July, I jumped on the Christmas in July or Jolly July bandwagon, and I was also, or am also still in an ongoing stitch along with Andy the Crow Stitcher for the Halloween as a Lifestyle. So I think July was pretty much for me like all holiday stitching, but not summer holiday stitching. It was Christmas or Halloween. And I had intended to do a lot of work on, or some work on, a lot of different Christmas projects. But then I kind of got to the point with 2 of them where I was feeling like I was close to being able to finish them, and then just became obsessed and kind of just pushed everything else aside and just worked on these. So one of those projects resulted in a finish, which I will show you today. And that finish is Christmas Chicken by the Artsy Housewife. I stitched this on 16 count Rustico Aida, 2/1. Her patterns are charted, most of them are charted in like fancy floss, overdyed flosses, but I think she always gives you a DMC alternative, and this is all the DMC. I feel like this one didn't really need the variegated overdyed flosses. It's just, I don't know, I think it's perfect like this. And I am so happy with this. This border is a really great one for if you want some stitching where you don't really want to pay too close of attention to counting, like if you're watching a movie or on a Zoom. Once you learn the color pattern, it's just kind of a mindless. I think last time I talked about this, I had said I was kind of saving the chicken for a reward for getting through the rest of it. I don't know if that was the best approach, actually, because there's a lot of white, obviously. Did I not know that? In this chicken, and I know most of us do not enjoy white stitching. So not only did I save all this white toward the end, but I saved it toward the end and then tried to complete this white stitching as a passenger in a moving vehicle. So that wasn't, yeah, that plan kind of backfired. It was not the best time, but I love this. On this count fabric, the finished dimensions are roughly 6 inches by 9 inches, so it's not a standard size. So I'm going to have to, I think I'm just going to order a custom frame off Etsy. I've been looking at a few different shops. There's some good options. So hopefully we'll have that in my hands and have this framed before Christmas. I think this would be perfect in our kitchen around Christmas time. So there's a finish. And then the other project that kind of became all-consuming once that was done, oops, I think I just broke my zipper. Oh my gosh, I can't even open it. It's trapped in this project bag. Okay. Not finished, but she's getting close. This is Gothic Light by Barbara Anna. I can hear a dog walking around, and I can hear another one snoring. I don't know if you can. She's getting close. This is on a 32 count Zweigart linen. I think it's like what's the called for, I think. Murano basalt splash. So there's like, it's like a grayish denim-y blue, these random white paint dots. I'm gonna have my more white floss hanging. So I did a lot of Christmas in July stitching in July, and I think I kind of got to the point by the end of July where I was sick of Christmas. But and I was ready for it to be put away. But I think what I might do with this one, I know a lot of people will stitch Christmas projects on the 24th and or 25th of the month. So I think I'll keep this one out and do that because this is close. I think I can finish this one before Christmas if I just keep it, you know, a day or two a month for the next few months. So we should have, so I'll have that one, and then I think I've shown it in the past, but I'll show it again. On the other side of this fabric is another Barbara Anna that I've finished. It's it called Dancer? And then I have another one of hers that's finished too, that I finished pre-Flosstube, which I don't, it's too far away. I'm not going to grab it right now. But I would like to have all three of these framed in kind of mismatched frames for sort of a collage wall at Christmas time. Okay, so I think that's, yeah. No, nothing else got like completed this month. What did I work on? I put some work into, I think had I started this last time? Maybe I just talked about starting it last time. So this might technically be a start, or maybe it's a whip. I'm not totally sure. I don't like to go back and watch my own videos because I don't want to listen to myself. This is my progress. I think I made progress on this one. Well, if I didn't show it last time, I for sure made progress on this one since the last time I filmed the Flosstube. But this project is for Stephanie of Cross Stitch the Globes, Sal, which is Hello 40 birthday Sal. She turned 40 this summer, so it was kind of a Christmas in July and 40th birthday. I doubled up on those. This is a pattern by Hello from Liz Matthews. 12 Days of Christmas. She just had a new one come out. Is it 5 or 6 is out now? I don't even know. I'm on day 1. But I would like to do all these at some point, and I'm doing the tree version. And everything's called for, and I made the changes as she did, because I think this one she released originally kind of just intending it to be just the one, and then later decided to do the full 12 days. So I think this is the only one, I may be wrong, where the sampler version is a little bit different than the tree version. Like, she recommends that you change some colors if you're using this called for darker fabric, just so they show up more, because these greens would totally blend in with that green fabric. So I might keep this one out. I might keep this one out with the Barbara Anna one for like a 24th and 25th day stitching. It's fun. It's a 36 count, and in honor of Stephanie, I'm using a vintage Gibbs Duchess oval hoop when I stitch that one. She's quite a collection of vintage hoops. Okay, and then these are kind of in a random order. Again, this one has a nice hanging thread on the back. I did some work on Variant of Interest. This is by Long Dog Samplers. And I am stitching this one on a 32 count antique white linen by Zweigart using a dark blue silk from Silks For You on Etsy. And I'm doing it 2/2. I'm enjoying the 2/2 on this one for whatever reason, even though I'm not really feeling it on everything else right now. But this is fun to stitch. These are, I mean, you have to pay attention because I did make a mistake earlier that I've now fixed. But it is nice that you don't have to be paying attention to changing colors ever. You're just following the X's in the chart. So I've got the full width at the top. And I've been working on this the last few nights. Again, with like 32 count, I don't need magnification. I can do it with the light's not great. So it's kind of a comfortable stitching for me. I was telling my husband last night, I just felt like I was really cruising on it. I'm like, wow, I've made so much progress on this. And then I looked at the cover photo and I'm like, okay, I'm like up here. Oops. I'm up here. Okay. He's like, well, that will probably take you a year to finish. I'm like, if this is the only thing I did, it's going to take way longer than that. Are you crazy? But yeah, it's an enjoyable stitch. I hope I bought the full hank of silk from Silks For You. And I think everywhere I've read, it seems like those are enough to do even like a much bigger, because this is kind of smaller by long dog standards. But I'm already starting to get paranoid that I feel like I'm going through it fast. So I think I have enough. Hopefully I have enough. We'll see, I guess. I have to get creative if I can't get, if I run out and can't get the same dye lot or same color. Okay. Now we're getting kind of like to a weird order of things in here. Okay, so if you did tune into our live last weekend, you maybe saw a little bit of this. I have made, well, I'm calling block 1 on Halloween at Hawkrone Hollow a finish for now. I am still missing, I did the back stitching, like the siding of the house and the skeleton's teeth. So what I'm missing still is there are some spider webs in these upper corners. I'll show you the cover photo. And the spider's legs, and then the bat's eyes are French knots. So I'm not doing those yet. I'm going to save those stitches until maybe the end of the project, or at least closer to the end. And for a couple of reasons. Mainly I just didn't want to do them right now. And I am a little worried because it's longer stitching on the spider webs and then the French knots. I kind of feel like this is a big project and it's going to be a long-term project. So I feel like the more that I'm handling it and moving it around a Q-snap, it's just more chance for those stitches to get messed up, and then I would have to redo them anyway. So I'm just going to wait on those. So I knew this was a big project, but I think even still doing it on 40 count, and once I got that first block in, I'm like, this is really huge. This is going to be big. Like, I'm only a third of the way, or the height, and a quarter of the way across, and it's this big. And I'm stitching this on a 40 count fabric from XJU Designs. The color is Grandma's Slip. I'm not sure what this one feels a little bit thicker than some of the other ones I've gotten from her. So I wonder if some of these colors are dyed on more of a rustic. They're all Zweigart base, I know that, but I think the base on some of these might be different. It's more of like a natural, and it just feels a little thicker. But I love it. And I am using the Vicky Clayton silks for this one in this little bobbin box right now. I'm keeping them on the bobbins for now, and it's working great for now. I don't know if it's going to become like kind of a disaster eventually, but I just got this little case off Amazon. It's like an Art Bins bobbin box, so that. And then also in this bag, I started, and I was working on this a little bit during this live stitch because it's on a 36 count light fabric that I can see without special lights or magnifiers. I've been working on Olga's Autumn Stocking by Plum Street Samplers. This is so pretty. So, and this is also an XJU Designs fabric. Ooh, what color is it? This is Baby Sheep. It's a 36 count. And I'm stitching one strand over two with the called for overdyed flosses. And I love it. I've been playing around. I mean, I've fully admitted that I'm sometimes like really chaotic on the backs of my projects. like the Mill Hill kits, I just hop all over the place. If it's full coverage, I'm just gonna hop all over the place. I'm trying to be much better when I think it's necessary, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want to be carrying threads on a really light piece of linen on a fine piece of work. I'll show you, I can show you my back on, this is the back of my Halloween Hopper and Hollow so far. So I'm turning over a new leaf, but I am playing with different ways of starting and finishing my flosses. So with one strand stitching, I have been starting with a pin stitch, and I really like that. And I do kind of like a diagonal start, so it's like that first under, like the lower leg of your cross. I've done some pin stitch for finishing my flosses, and I don't know, I'm just not happy with it. I feel like it's not as secure, and I feel like I can still see it. So I've kind of gone back to finishing my flosses on the back and just running them under a few stitches. If anyone has like some kind of miraculous like way of finishing their floss that I have not thought of yet, please let me know. I haven't found like my preferred finishing method yet. So we'll see. We're all just learning as we go along with this. Okay, then one of the other things that I worked on, I was inspired. Well, I started this with my friend Suki from Instagram a little bit back, and then I kind of put it away. She made it, I think she finished her whole border. I did not get that far. And then I saw Marissa of MKiss Designs had pulled her Consider the Lilies back out, and she's, gosh, she's like 3/4 of the way done. It's just beautiful. So it inspired me to get this back out. I finally have my Lowry stand set up. I don't know if I talked about that. I did buy quite a few more Q-snap frames. I think that's part of it for me, is sometimes if I don't have something already on a Q-snap, because I will leave things on Q-snaps for a few days or for a while. I don't want to do that on like a nerd hoop, and I'll show you why in a bit. But sometimes even when you're tired and it's like, if it's just one extra step, like I have to get this big honking piece of fabric and a Q-snap, and you're like, ugh, I don't want to. So that will prevent me sometimes from even working on something. So I've had this one set up. I did that with Halloween at Aquarium Hollow, where I just had it on the Lowry frame and I would just work on it every day. And then I finished block one and I took it off, and I'm going to put it away for a little bit. And now what's been on there daily is my Consider the Lilies. This again is on a fabric by XJU Designs. This is 40 count. Let me double check. Baby sheep. So I think this is the same color as the Olga stocking. And I'm stitching this 1/2 with all the called for overdyed flosses. We've got a mixture of Gentle Arts, Classic Colorworks, and Weeks Dye Works. When I started, I realized there's a bird here. There was one like a dark chocolate color that either because I bought all this at Acorns and Threads, and either they were out of that color that day or my eyes just skipped right over it on the pattern. So I realized I was missing one, but I placed an order with 123 Stitch, which arrived today. So I have that color, and I can go in and finish this little bird. But this is so fun. This is addictive once you get going on it, because every little motif just feels like a little finish. And it's so pretty. And it's going to be huge, even on 40 count. I think I mentioned that I've seen the model stitch, which was done on a 28 count. It's at Hangs and Acorns and Threads, and it's huge. This will be big too, because I'm already, I mean, I've done like this much. I'm not 1/4 of the way, and it's already this big. This is large. But this is one where I started, I've been doing the pin stitch to start, and I had done quite a few of the motifs with the pin stitch where I was finishing it, but there's a couple spots where I can see it, and I think I might pick out a couple. And then since then I've kind of shifted over to just finishing my threads on the back by running them under a few stitches to kind of anchor them. So this one will go back on the key snap and get, I think, some more daily work for probably for the rest of August at least. I'm really enjoying it, so I don't really want to put it down. What else did I work on? This one, I think this one only had a little bit of progress on it. Whatever video I talked about it in. And I didn't even take it off the Q-snap, and it has a hanging thread. But this is my little bit of progress on Thurza Goes Goth. This is by Hemlock and Rye, so which is owned by Julie of Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World. Did I get that right? She has a YouTube channel and Instagram. And this is being stitched 1/2 on 40 count fabric by XJU Designs. There's a theme here. This color is called Early Halloween, and I have another project on this same color in a different count, which I will show in a little bit. It's another fun one. This one won't be too terribly big on 40 count. But I love that dark, like, grungy fabric, and then the pops of kind of bright neon colors on it. This is another one where you get like that instant kind of, or like quick gratification, where each of the motif feels like a finish. I can see why people like samplers. I think I'm moving more toward that direction where I can see myself doing even more of those. Okay, so this is, I think we're heading into just things I would have started that I haven't talked about before. I might have to pause and go get like a real drink of water. I feel like I have not like talked like this in a while. Thirsty. Okay, so I've had this pattern or this booklet for a bit. I had the fabric for a while too. This is the cover project. It's a Teresa Kogut design from her Hello Halloween booklet. And hold on, I care so much about my driveway, so I'm gonna pause real quick. Okay, sorry about that. This is the time of day when Amazon tends to show up, and so I thought I was gonna have dogs going bonkers, but it was nothing. So it'll happen in a couple minutes now that I've like sat back down. Where did I put my project? Okay. So I've seen this one popping up on Instagram recently. A lot more, a couple of finishes, some people working on it. We're heading into spooky season. I mean, it's always spooky season in my opinion, but so this pattern I've started, and it is stitched on, it is the called for fabric. It's a 36 count, again by XJU Designs. And the color Old Linen, and it's a mixture of DMC Classic Colorworks in Weeks. There aren't tons of flosses. It's a maybe only like 10 or 12 different colors that you use. I have a small start. I did an upper left start on this one. I love this one. It's so pretty. This is good. I think this might go in, this might need to be in like a Q-snap that's ready to go, so I can just stick it on my frame. I'd been using a nerd hoop when the little bit that I worked on this. Amy and I of the Thread Gremlins were having a nerd hoop kind of conversation when we got together, trying to look and see. Maybe it's fine now. So I have a lot of nerd hoops. My favorite sizes are the size 3 and the size 2. And I love them. I can get, I feel like they're quicker to set up than a Q-snap. And I can get them really, really drum tight. But I have noticed, and maybe it's me because I just like ratchet them down so tight. I'm not seeing it now on this. So maybe it's kind of relaxed over time. But I've noticed, maybe if it's on Olga's still, hold on, let me pull that back out. See if you can see this. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this on camera, and this will be covered and it will be fine. But there's a spot like right, can you see kind of right in here? Oh it's showing up on camera. There are spots. It's not a hole in the linen, but it's definitely, it's like shifting the threads of the linen almost to the point where it looks like it's going to make a hole. And so far I've always been able to like use my needle to kind of like just move them back to where they need to go. I think with this one it stressed me out a little bit, and I'm not seeing it now, so maybe with time it just calms down. But with this darker fabric, I had a situation like that, and it almost looked kind of shiny where it was happening. Like maybe even a little bit here, you can kind of see. It's faint, and it's going to be fine. But I think if you've considered the new Nerge hoops, it's something just to be aware of. Especially if you like really tighten your piece up like I do. Like I would use it for a stitching session and then take it off your project entirely. I would not leave things hanging out on those. It's just my advice. But I still love them, and I have like bought like 4 more of them the other day, so I like having a stash of them because they are great. But don't leave things in there for like weeks or years. Okay, what's up next? All right, this one is a start, and this is part of the stitch along that I am hosting with Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe. I'm looking in here because I think like every single project I've worked on is on XJU Design fabric except like one. If you don't know her Etsy shop, you should go check it out, or actually don't, because sometimes it's like I want all her stuff, like, and I don't want to share. This is an Artsy Housewife pattern. I'm going to try to flip to the cover photo so I'm not showing you the chart. Didn't prepare appropriately. So, she has 2 patterns that are kind of related to each other. This is Dark Golden Delicious, and then there is a Golden Delicious. They're very similar. Like the pattern's the same. Some of the floss colors are different. I haven't looked at them both closely to know like what the differences are. Stephanie's doing the original version. Her sister Allison is doing the dark version. There's quite a few other people that have joined us. I've seen some really cool fabric choices. I'm doing the dark version, obviously. And I am doing this one also on XJU Designs Early Halloween. I love this fabric so much. This is a 32 count of that. And here is my start. And I am using all the Call for flosses, which are, I think, mostly Classic Colorworks. And this pattern is like funky and retro, and I don't know, it's crazy, especially on this fabric, but I'm loving it. This is one day. I just did this. I'm like, I'll just start because it's the 4th and that's the day we said we're going to start. I'll just put a few stitches in, and then I just couldn't stop. So I don't know. It's so cool. I think Gigi can do no wrong, basically. So there's my start on that. And I think that was just that one day of stitching, and then guys, my craft room is a mess. Like, I don't... It's crazy in here. I need to do some organizing. I need to stop starting projects. I need to finish some projects and get them, like, out. Okay. So I have only one other new start, and it's that I was going to mention. I'm sure there's other stuff I worked on. And it's so tiny and pathetic. Look. But this is what Erica and I started. Erica, Fibers and Floss Canada, started when we were ending our day at our little stitching meetup and just sat in the park, and we were like, we'll just put a few stitches in and start. And I think she's made some progress on hers actually. So this will be my third Christmas in July kind of, or Christmassy project that I'm going to keep out. I'm going to put it in something better than this like sad plastic thing. Yeah, but this is a really awesome full coverage Santa piece that I would, love to have out for the holidays at some point whenever I finish it. I When was the last time I finished a dimensions piece? I probably haven't finished one since I made stockings for my kids and me and my first husband years and years and years ago. So there's a lot to pay attention to. This one's on a 18 count and most of it's 2/1, but then we'll have, I think the most you ever have is 3 strands of floss going, but every once in a while one of these will have like 4 or more strands. So there's like a lot to, I mean, it's the whole like reason they're called dimensions, because they will have some areas that are more dimensional than others. But this was Erica's pick for her Stitcher's 12 Day of Christmas. This is her best Santa pick, and this is a really good Santa, I agree. So hopefully that one will see a little more work on the 24th or 25th of the next few months. Okay, I think that's stuff I've worked on. I have done, in some previous videos, I did some giveaways, or I posted them and then had people comment. The kits that I gave away, those are sent off and in the hands of the winners. But I have one thing that I never heard back from the winner, so I'm going to re-give away, because it's been way over a month, so I think that's plenty of time for someone to respond to me. I'm giving away my copy of Halloween Quaker. As I said before, I did not, this is the chart that I use, I didn't mark it up anyway. I did stick my little fabric label on the cover, which you can pull off. But the chart is intact, no markings on it. This was a really fun stitch. I did it on the call for fabric. I think this is my first project I ever finished on 40 count. And I have seen this one making the rounds lately on Instagram. I think there's an active stitch along going. I'm not sure who's hosting it. But we're heading into that perfect time of year, so I'm going to offer this. We're going to redo the giveaway on this one. Kind of same rules as before. I'm going to open it up a little bit. So you do need to be 18 or over, because you have to give me your address so I can mail it to you. You can be anywhere for this. Anywhere you can receive mail, I will send it to you. So it doesn't have to be US only this time. Do not use giveaway, free, any of those kind of words that are going to attract bots anywhere in your comment. I will delete those. If you would like a chance to win this, please use the word witchy somewhere in your comment, and then I'll do, I'll let this stay open until I film my next video, and I'll do another random comment picker and select a new winner before the next video, which should be in a couple weeks. Okay. So I think that's it. I don't really have like solid plans for the next couple weeks. I want to put some more work into Consider the Lilies. I did get all the flosses today, and I had a piece of fabric that showed up today that I'm going to use for the peacock, unicorn, and badger. So maybe we'll start that. I don't know. I have kind of too many things going. I did buy some things at Threadneedle Street. I don't really have like everything together for like a little haul. And it was just kind of random. I didn't really have a plan going in there. I mostly just wanted to see everybody. But one thing I was going to show you that I did buy there was Michaela and I are planning to start either at the end of the year or more like a new year, new start project. We are going to do a stitch together for the Rome mandala from Chatelaine. And I know with the Chatelaines, one of the things that can really trip people up is that the Gloriana silks are kind of hard to come by. Denise had all that I needed except one, so I bought these when I was there. So those are ready. I'll just have to get the one that I'm missing. I can't remember which one it is now. I'm going to order the bead pack from European Cross Stitch at some point, probably pretty soon. And then I think I'll kit up the fabric and all the rest of the flosses just kind of slowly over the next few months. This will be my very first Chatelaine. I'm very excited about it. So if you would like to join us in stitching that, or stitching any Chatelaine, just let me know. We'll start some kind of official something. And then I have a couple of other things that I got that are not really technically cross stitch, but they're just crafty, and I'm feeling kind of inspired, I think, to do. I mean, I obviously am not going to stop cross stitching, but like to do some other things. I've started making some hexagons. I'm going to do another hexy quilt top, even though I have not quilted the one that I finished. But I've got some pieces of the Liberty of London Tana Lawn fabric, so that's starting. I picked up this book. It was just popped up for me on Instagram. I haven't really ever done just like freeform embroidery. I think I've tried it a couple times. It's a little intimidating to me because it feels like cross stitch. I can follow the directions and, you know, like fill in all the X's. Embroidery to me is just because there's so much room for interpretation. It feels more like art, and I don't consider myself to be artistic at all. But this book caught my attention, and Elizabeth of the Thread Gremlins is pretty experienced in embroidery, and I think that she seems willing to help me if I kind of hit some line blocks. So I'm going to play around with some embroidery. I mean, this book is so cool. Like, let me just find, what was the one? I mean, come on. That is amazing. If nothing else, this is hugely inspiring. But yeah, it's different than a cross stitch pattern where they're like, you know, buy this count fabric and these DMC flosses. This is more like, she's like, I bought this 20 yards of this black fabric that I really liked some years ago. I just keep using it. You don't know what it is. She's like, I use DMC flosses, but I don't know, you just pick your own colors. So if nothing else, this has been really fun to look at. But I do want to play around with that. And then I also got, this actually just came today in the mail too. This bag is kind of heavy. So Jackie of Comfort Stitching had, in one of her previous videos, done a little tour of a store in her town that's called, I think it's called, pronounced Florilegium. She's in Missouri, and this shop just looked amazing. It's not technically a cross-stitch store, but it looked like they had all kinds of like needle points, embroidery, maybe knitting supply. It's just like a fiber arts dream come true. And they had these kits, and they were sold out for a bit on their website, but I managed to get one in a restock. These little kits to do the velvet strawberries, and I think it comes with everything you need. It's got like the filling, the stuffing, the ribbon, the velvet. So I haven't fully opened this up yet because it just showed up today, but I'm excited to kind of take a look at this and try my hand at this. So I think that's it for now. Thank you so much for sticking around and hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed seeing my stitching update, and I will plan to, oh, one thing I forgot to mention at the start, I don't have it with me. I'm doing my first round robin with some lovely ladies. So Jen from Jen Cyberweb threw out a call on Instagram asking if anyone wanted to do a Carolyn Manning round robin. So I am joined in on one of her little groups. I have barely started mine, so it's not really even enough to show you, and it's like over on the other side of the room, so I'm not going to grab it right now, but I should have an update about that the next time I'm in front of the camera. So other than that, thanks for coming along on my disorganized little ride here. Yeah, happy stitching, and I will see you guys in a couple weeks.